Today, good day of work today with preparations for a great opportunity this coming Saturday against a top 10 team in Louisville. Very explosive on offense, very disruptive on defense. Top 5, top 10 statistically on defense in just about every single category, and offensively anywhere from top 5 to top 20 in every category as well. So a very complete team, a lot of good football players, and a great opportunity for us. And again, a day of really, really good preparation so far. So questions, please.
Mario, it was reported that Emory was having surgery today, and just wanted to know how he is, and how he is, and then also when might he return to the team, even as an observer at practice or a game.
Emory's doing well. You know, as you guys saw, he had a significant injury on Saturday. And obviously procedures, we keep those things to ourselves. What gets out there gets out there, but you know, it's not really, you know, our doing. We keep that stuff private. He's doing great. He'll be full go for spring practice. And he's a tough guy. He really is a tough guy. This means a lot to him. Has the full support of his teammates. Saw him this morning. You see him again here in a little bit. So very proud of him for his effort, and proud of him for the way he handled everything from the week itself to the game itself, and then dealing with, you know, his circumstances.
He's had a really good attitude, hasn't he?
Him?
Yeah.
He's never had a bad day.
Yeah.
Never had a bad day.
How public is probably the wrong word, but to get that substantially injured on a play where he had to get that last inch to give you guys a chance to get that last drive alive, just what does that say about that kid?
Oh, I think it says a lot about him. It says a lot about football. You know, football is the ultimate competitive opportunity in sport, and it could be unforgiving at times, right? It'll push you to your limits and beyond, and that's going to force you to deal with adversity, you know, and you're going to have a breakthrough or you're going to have a breakdown. Guys like that, you know, they find a way to break through, and that's all you want to know, you know, besides, you know, being in a little bit of pain, you know, did I get the first down? Did I get a first down? What's up with the replay? You know, so he's I think he embodies, like a lot of the guys that you guys have a chance to meet and speak with. Just feel like the DNA is right, and the DNA is improving on a daily basis around here.
I know reasonable to assume that it's a competition this week to figure out what you're going to do.
It's always reasonable because we're going to compete every single week at just about every position, but Tyler is going to be the starting quarterback going in. Jakari is going to compete. Jakari is going to get a lot of reps, and he's a really good player. But figure that'll, you know, answer the question as best possible.
And you talked, you've been very complimentary about Tyler.
I'm sorry, one more time.
You've been, sorry, I got words after that.
That's
But you've been very complimentary about Tyler, you know, through this whole thing, his struggles this year. Just the kind of zigzag of being the starter, getting sat down last week, coming back in the last part of the game, now starting again on Saturday. How has he kind of handled kind of that back and forth?
Being a quarterback at Miami is, you gotta be tough. You know, you gotta have thick skin. You gotta be a competitor. He's all that. He handled last week like a pro, which means disappointed, upset, really fought hard all week, and it was a great week of practice by both guys. In fact, at the end of the week, staff felt like, man, we've made a lot of progress. Felt like as a staff and as players together, we did a better job of putting things together, knowing it was going to be a difficult team to move the ball against, particularly through the air, where they had excelled. But because of his performance last week, because of his determination, his past successes, you know, that's what your job as a coach is to provide clarity, remove the clutter, and make people better. He's done really, really well. He's handled everything really well, and he has the confidence of his teammates and the coaching staff.
I know it's been a year since we've seen Jakari on the field in a game, but what stands out, or what do you remember maybe about his performance against Georgia Tech last year, and how maybe has he developed since then?
He's developed in a lot of different ways as it relates to not only, you know, everybody talks about he's a good athlete and whatnot, but he's developed as a passer. By that I mean going through his progression, being accurate with the football, understanding the offense, understanding how to get us in and out of plays, understanding of protections, you know, because extending plays, yeah, some of it is natural, but some of it is understanding, okay, we're in a rough spot here. But if I could hang in there and use my eyes to pull this particular defender out so that I could find a way to get through, extend, maybe flatten out and get the ball down the field, I can't. He continues to evolve in that way. And, you know, he played last year, and the whole thought going to this year is like, hey, if we could, you know, with Tyler being the starting quarterback going into the season, if we could find a way to preserve a red shirt, we could. It would be great for all of us because he has such a bright future here at Miami. And then the last couple of weeks, it was kind of muddy, and, you know, Emory had received a lot of the preparation time. So that's the route we went to. So that being said, yeah, he continues to get better and better. He's got natural leadership skills. You saw some of it flash last year, like you mentioned, in the Georgia Tech game, both throwing the football, running the football, improvising, extending plays. And he'll be doing that all week in practice. Again, he's very much competing and working really hard.
All right, speaking of another person who's been dealing with injuries for a long time now, Zion Nelson I haven't seen him dress or anything. Do you know what the situation is? Is he going to be able to get back on the field at some point in his career, or do you know what his status is going to be?
I think he is, and it's I know he's frustrated. He's a great human being, by the way, and obviously a really good football player as well. The nature of his injury just requires time, you know, time and tweaks. And I can't get into specific detail as to what that is, but when you're a big body, you want to make sure you get it right, just because those guys have so much more stress, right? So much more power and force in all their movements. So we feel very confident that we're going to get there. It's certainly taken longer, you know, than all of us would have ever wanted or expected. But whatever time it takes, we're willing to, for him, number one, right? You want to do what's best for the student athlete and for the team too, because the moment he gets healthy, he's an instant boon for our offensive line and for our team.
As if being a head coach wasn't tough enough. There's always recruiting players, and now you're at a point in the season where head coaches are losing their jobs, and that means assistant coaches are going to get talked about and pulled. How much do you communicate with guys about opportunities that may or may not come their way? Is it something that you let them bring to you? Do you worry about when the merry-go-round starts every year in college football? How do you handle that?
I mean, it's your job to help guys get an opportunity that if they really want it, you know. Because I've had great coaches that I've worked for that when something came about, they might give me a hard time, but if they knew it's something I wanted, they eventually would come around and help me out. So I do believe in that. And at the same time, it's no different than your organizational chart for your players. You keep one on coaches around the country and that thing evaporates quickly as well, right? It's a race, but it's a race where you have to be patient too, because sometimes you know the person and sometimes you might be on your chart where, wait, great reputation, pretty good statistically, I don't know them. How's this thing gonna fit? And you know, a lot of the progress that we're having is because of the fit and the people. You know, people that want to be here, people that are willing to work hard, that understand that, like, you know, to go where we want to go, you have to be fully invested. You know, and that's why, you know, things are moving, you know, in the direction, you know, that we want to go, and got to keep and understand we got to keep getting better and better and better. So this time of year, it's, you know, it's always crazy, always has been, always will be. I think you just deal. It's no different than a penalty on the field. Well, let me not go there. It's no different than a situation on the field that you got to handle. You know, turnover or something else. You deal with it and you go.
You talk about investment and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
You're also at the point in the year where it's not uncommon anymore in the sport to see a player say, "I'm good. I'm going to protect my interests, whatever." Have you had anybody come to you and say that?
Haven't had that yet. You know, I know that's, you know, no one knows where college football is headed, right? It's just ever changing. You know, I don't judge. Should those moments come and whatnot, and I've seen it happen before, I've experienced it before. You just don't judge. You just do whatever's best for the team. That's all that matters. You know, at the end of the day, when you put your head down at night for the few minutes you get to put it down at night, you do it knowing that no matter what, at all costs, you're doing what's very best for the team. Nothing else can override that. No.
You started I think it was 5 true freshmen this past week, and arguably, I guess, your biggest game of the season. What does that say about the opportunity you'll give to freshmen that earn it, and also about the foundation of where things are moving for the future?
Yeah, actually, and then Riley was in, I believe, series 2 or 3. We were planning on starting in 6. I think that's a couple of things. Number 1, confidence in them. 2, their development. 3, the caliber of players that we're bringing into the program, right? Which is Miami caliber players. That was always the case, right? And Miami should be littered with classes stacked like that. It's our first full class. They've worked hard. They've earned it. Some guys were here mid-year. Some guys got here in the summer. Mark Fletcher got here in the summer. Damari Brown got here in the summer. That's hard, to be able to turn that thing around and get the starting position. What CC plays, Francis, what he played, that's hard. I know he was here mid-year, but it's hard to go and play in that environment where you can't hear the snap count and you're going against, some guys that are 3rd, 4th, and 5th year players. So it's a testament to them. It's a testament to the leaders that have helped groom them, to their coaching as well, and to their commitment to preparation. So it's exciting. I mean, call it what it is. We're always going to be very upset. We're going to be beyond just gut-wrenching pain when we don't achieve our goal. But the best way to describe the sentiment in the locker room is driven.
In your mind, how far has the team come compared to when you got here, just from a physical standpoint, winning more trench battles, tackling, all that stuff?
Yeah, that's miles, stratospheres, really. You always want to see where you are in the trenches, because that's the hardest part to develop. Because if you can't block or you can't knock back the line of scrimmage and tackle, that takes 2 or 3 years to develop. I know the portal's changed that some, right? You could find some more mature bodies, but you still have to hit on those bodies. And if any part of a roster is protected by programs, it's the trenches, right? Seldom do you see high-level trench guys, bounce around portal-wise. So that was an area that was just glaringly just lacking, and it showed up in short yardage goal line situations. A year ago, we couldn't run the ball very well, couldn't protect the passer very well, couldn't defend the run very well, and it starts up front. So, it's a tremendous turnaround in all phases, and not only an influx of talent, but also really player development. A lot of guys that had been here or just got here, they really worked hard to develop great core strength, great power, right? Hips, legs, upper body, striking, block destruction, unlocking hips, running feet through contact. So, kind of go off on a tangent there, but you know what I mean? It's the most important, it's the hardest part to develop. So we're really enthused about that progress there, because that could lead to all the other stuff, And you look on Saturday, if you broke down the difference in the games, statistically, the game's pretty even, right? There's a couple really mature portal skill guys that made some critical plays down the stretch, for the other team. And credit to them for doing that. You don't take that away from them. They made those plays. Our guys are getting better, and we're going to keep finding ways to get better and keep finding ways to be more impactful and bring in more impactful guys at all positions.
You mentioned Damari, who had obviously a really important job starting in that game. How did you feel he and Jadis Richard played?
They were excellent. Those guys were excellent. Big, they're fast, they're physical, they're fearless. They did a really good job. And a lot of contested throws as well. Some of the timing, back shoulder things, those are hard, man. Those 9 stops, when that ball is thrown to a player with a catch radius is as big as you'll see in college or pro football. Those are hard, but those guys battled. They were physical. They never shied away, And the plays that they did give up were plays that, the other team had to scratch and claw for. So really proud of them both, and really let them know, we all let them know, really proud of them for their efforts. Bright futures.
please don't get fined for this one, but have you gotten an explanation on the safety? And do you expect an explanation on the safety? Notice I didn't ask you if it was a safety.
Let's catch a little Cuban coffee later this week or something.
With Jacoby George and that type of game, in your coaching career, what can that type of game do in terms of confidence and development moving forward?
I love that guy, man. That guy is, he's developing so much, and I've said it before, I'm going to push him hard because he's got carries a lot of responsibility. And he really is an awesome young man, and he's a guy that sky's the limit, and the more he develops, the more you're going to see that of him. He's got great wiggle, he's got unbelievable balance, body control, and he can track the ball. And when you have a game like that against a secondary in tough situations like that long one, I don't know if you saw that, the way he leaned into it, laid hands, and then still through some obstruction found a way to catch it. It's high level stuff. That route down there, the delayed fade down at the goal line, that's hours and hours and reps of practice. So it's great to see that pay off for him and for the quarterback and for the offense. So it's something great to build off of. I think the more confidence guys get when they touch the ball like that and make plays, the more you can build off of that. And hopefully, we intend to see more and more from him and the rest of that receiving crew.
Do you ever get caught thinking that yesterday you were 2-0 or 2 games into the season, and today there's 2 games left in the regular season, and it goes like that? Does it seem that way? I know you live and breathe every second of every day, but does it seem like the season just flies?
I just, I don't know if I've thought that far, or that deep in advance, man. Right now it's like, we're on, third down and red zone and chopping away at that stuff and formational stuff and really studying their personnel. You know how much I love ball. I mean, I live and die this stuff. So for me, it's just, everything is geared towards how can we help our team be successful? How can we help make Miami better? How can we find a way to keep progressing? How can we continue to move the program forward, eliminate issues, eliminate penalties, that just doesn't stop. So that eats up every second of the day. There's no personal time.
I know Henry Parrish has been kind of limited since the UNC game didn't play last week. What his status is going to be going forward?
I think he'll be healthy enough this week. I mean, he was healthy enough to play. Just didn't look like he was up to full speed, and the other guys were. Same thing with AJ. Felt that they were 2 days away, 3 days away. Like they were right at the cusp, and those other guys were running the ball really well. So we went with those guys.